The views expressed in this podcast are solely based on personal experience and is not intended to replace professional medical advice. Our opinions should not be taken as therapeutic advice, as this podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only.
This episode contains explicit content, including graphic details pertaining to death and self-harm. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi everybody, welcome to The Police Condition. My name is Ryan, and sitting across from me and always standing beside me, my lovely wife, Laura.
Hello.
So tonight we are going to be talking about mortality. Mortality in law enforcement, mortality in firefighters, just the thought of death. It is just one of those things that I know I've thought about it a lot. I know we see it a lot. It's just, I feel it's something that should be talked about.
Yeah, definitely. And, the general population, like myself, like death is always something I think everybody thinks about. You see it in movies, you see it in TV shows, but you guys live it. You see it all the time. So it's definitely something important to talk about.
Right. So tonight, instead of just me and Laura talking, we have a special guest. This dude is one of my closest friends. We served in the Marine Corps together. He is now a firefighter. He's one of those guys that anytime he calls, I'll answer. I'm always there for him, and he's the same way. He's always there for me. So everybody welcome my good friend.
Hello. How you doing?
Good, man. So how you been?
Hey, man. Been good. I just got off shift this morning, and yeah, man, it's hot as hell out here right now. I got a little heat wave going on, and yeah, I just came in for my garden. It's one of my places of chi. Out there, messing with my garden and chickens, man. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, you sent me some pictures of it just a minute ago. That was cool, man. Like I said, it's some real off-the-grid shit right there, getting ready.
Yeah, off the grid as much as I can in an HOA.
Right.
Doing what I can.
Oh, I'm surprised they let you have chickens.
It's limited, but I'm pushing the
Well,
limits.
I've known you long enough. I don't think I've ever known you not to do that. So.
Yeah, true that, dude.
All right. Well, we want to kind of introduce yourself and give our listeners a little bit about yourself. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So originally from the East Coast. So if anybody knows anything about the Northeast, it's kind of my mindset and my mentality that kind of sticks with me, or has stuck with me. And I brought that everywhere, and I've also realized not everybody has the same mentality. So I've had to adjust quite a bit, especially moving out to the West Coast and realizing not everybody is as aggressive, in your face. It was a little bit of a reality check and a culture shock. Served with you in the Marine Corps. We were out in Tornado Palms together. Yeah, did a lot of silly things together.
A lot of silly things, yeah.
Yeah, to keep it short and simple, I guess. Yeah, man. Yeah, we went. You went the police route. I went the fire route, and originally, actually, like I told you, I tried going police. The cards weren't there for me. Ended up contracting. When I was trying to go the police route, ended up getting a contract job in Afghanistan, and I was out there for three years. And towards the end of my contract, when I wanted to end my time out there, I realized that lifestyle wasn't for me, and because it's a very specific lifestyle. It takes a very special kind of person to do that. And so I got a lot of respect, for you guys, that do that. And yeah, so I started pursuing fire, but I went wildland. And so I did wildland for a bit, did that for 3 years, and then realized that being gone for half the year away from my daughter, kind of sucked. I was missing out on a lot, so I wanted to go, the structure side of it. So started using shotgun effect, just applying everywhere, and ended up landing a job, working structure fire. And since I've been doing that for, let's see, we're in 2024 now. So yeah, about almost 7 years now, doing the structure side of it, and yeah, pretty rad. Love it. I got the camaraderie. The whole living and working with a bunch of individuals that we come together as a team. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You got all these different personalities, all this diversity, from different backgrounds, and different upbringings, and from jobs prior to the job. And so it's cool. We all come together. We all bring a different flavor, to the house, and yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I really enjoy it. Yeah, so that's what I do now.
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. Yes, we both really kind of started around the same time then, because you got into the structured side of it, like you said, about 7 years ago, and that's what I graduated the academy about 7 years ago. So about the same time, really. But yeah, I remember when you were doing the contracting stuff, we talked a little bit when we could. And didn't you learn how to play guitar when you were out there?
Yes, when I was out there, I had some downtime. I mean, there wasn't much to do out there in Afghanistan, obviously. So, we worked 7 days a week, and when we had a couple hours off in between work and sleep, go to the gym, and then you can only go 20 hours, before your body's destroyed. And so what are you going to do? And yeah, I picked up the guitar and started jamming away.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, yeah. And then, for those of you who don't know my friend, which some of you probably will, but he's built like a wrestler, so he's a jacked motherfucker. I got to buy this for you, man. My nickname, my family was that way, so yeah, it really stuck with me. It messed me up. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're not here to talk about that one today, so. Well, so in the intro, I told our listeners that we're talking about mortality tonight, and being a firefighter, I know you probably see it even more than I do, more death than I do every day, and so we kind of wanted to hear your story on that and get your take on it, and just go from there.
Yeah. Death, man. The permanent sleep. It's when you see it constantly. Sorry, so let me back up a little more. I'm not, full disclosure. I'm not with a department that is, super busy. Yeah, we're busy. I guess in a middle sense, in the scale. So just throwing that out there. We're not super busy. We're not super slow. But yeah, we run a fair amount of calls. We see a fair amount of things. That being said, that I probably see more death than you. I actually disagree, because every scene or incident that I'm on, PD is right there.
Yeah.
So we see the same amount. Because anytime you guys see some shit or we see some shit, we're going to one or the other, because you got to have that paperwork, and got to cross your T's and dot your I's, all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
And plus there's a lot of other things, the possibility of homicide, or investigations and things like that, car crashes and whatnot, FBAs. So yeah, me personally, experienced death from a fairly young age. I wouldn't say that sets me apart from anyone else, but my mother died, or she was in, and it was basically a vegetable when joined the Marine Corps, went to Iraq, and my older sister was the next of kin for my mother. It was a month. I had a month left in Iraq, and my older sister sent me an email saying, "Hey, we got to make a decision on Mom. She's been to vegetable for, what was it at that time? Maybe 2 or 3 years." And so yeah, we got to make a decision. We got to see what's good. She's not getting any better. Blah blah. Got back from Iraq, and I was back for maybe a week and pulled the plug on my mom. So that was probably the biggest hit that at that time, the biggest hit that I felt of death. Yeah, man, I remember standing there with all my two sisters, my mom's family, my aunts, my uncles, my grandma, and as they pulled the plug, she stayed on. She sat there. She sustained for a bit, and it wasn't until like a day or two later finally passed. I remember being at the barracks, because I was there. My little sister, we're there. They pulled the plug. My little sister, fell into my arms. We sat there, had our moment. Left. I went back to North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, because that's where my unit was coming back. And it was like a day or two later, I received a phone call that my mom died, and I was the first person that the facility called, and so they asked me, do they want me to have them make the phone calls to everybody else, or me make the phone calls? To me, what was I? Maybe now I was 19 years old, young, dumb, I had a bunch of alcohol in my system. I was actually, but also I recently got educated. For anybody that knows anything about the military, I got a little bit I got in some trouble, so I got NJP'd and bounced back from it. But anyway, but yeah, I was still sneaking booze, just being a fucking Marine, and yeah, so I was just a fucking shock, started punching wall lockers and shit, and just a young idiot, having that. They have there's like 5 or 7 steps of recovery, I was definitely in that anger phase, and acting out. Yeah, so then I told them, I would make the phone call, so I called my sisters, called my other family, and that was that. So that was my first. Yeah, I've been to funerals and shit prior to that, but that was my first real, hard hitting experience with death.
Right. Someone that actually meant something crazy to you.
Yeah. So I mean, even in Iraq, a handful of convoys and shit. And, there was one dude that got blown the fuck up, but I didn't know him that well. I wasn't close with him. Yeah, I fucking slap five with the head for the times or whatever. But I don't know, or maybe it was because just the environment, and the knowing that that's a possible expectation, of death. When I left, a couple weeks prior to leaving for Iraq, we were telling one of my good friends from, back east, hey man, feel like I'm gonna die. I was all fucking, drunk and sloppy and silly and shit. Oh man, just being silly. And yeah, but this dude Mac, wasn't super close to him, so it didn't hit me too hard. But the reality of things kind of, set in after that. During that situation, yeah, we were in the back of the convoy. Didn't see any cargoes of opportunity. Where I was at, they started relaying, on the radio, last man move up. So, I relayed, Royal was behind me. He wasn't moving up, so I fucking relayed back to him. Yo, move up. He moved up finally. He got up the thing, and then we started moving. To TQ, which was our original destination. And as we were moving, the truck that got hit, which stayed there, it was fucking blown to shit. And get on there. Homeboy gets fucking rushed to, med center. And and then we get to like a spot, where we can kind of settle. And Royal and this other dude, they were just covered in, man, from elbows down to their hands. And I was just like, fuck, man, like everybody was just, adrenaline going, fucking, kind of flustered, and sort of spigot over on the side. So my guy called him over, man. I fucking turned the spigot on, started washing all the blood, fucking hands and shit. And yeah, man. Like I said, like the whole, I guess, the situation, kind of sucked, but I wasn't super close to the dude, so that didn't really hit hard. My mom kind of sucked, obviously. She's my fucking mom.
Yeah.
And then actually, for those who are listening, man, if any of you experienced shit like death with a parent, I know for me, I didn't realize how much it did to me, until like the past couple years. I'm 38 years old, and it wasn't until the past like maybe a year or two where I realized how much it affects me in relationships, in intimate relationships, and so yeah, into therapy and all that shit, and yeah, it's like working on all those issues and trying to be a healthier person and have healthier relationships. So yeah, I got back from Iraq. Did a couple more years in Japan. Then went to Twin Island Palms, and that's when I met your ass. And, from there, we just cased some beers, every other day.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I think it was like the first night or maybe the second night I was there. I don't know if you were involved in this, but we did ever 40 hands.
I remember that. I don't think I was there, but I remember the pictures of you with those damn things taped to your hands.
Yeah. We did ever 40 hands. We were all like, yeah, sorry. Yeah, from there, I actually, I'm sure you remember. I didn't like you at first. Man.
No, yeah.
I butted heads.
We did at first, yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah, we butted heads. I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yep, we definitely did.
We started clicking at some point. We did best of boys.
All right.
It might have been, right around the time when we were doing keg stands with those mini
little mini kegs. If I could find that goddamn picture, man, I have that. I don't know where the hell it's at, but I still have a picture of you doing that keg stand on that mini keg, those little Heineken kegs, Yeah. Did you ever see that picture? Did I ever show that to you? Oh, it was fucking great. Oh, it's funny as shit.
Feet up on the wall locker.
Yeah.
Impressive. That's impressive.
Awesome. It was awesome. Oh, yeah, then.
Two-man party.
Yeah, it was just me and you, wasn't it? It was just me and you. I think other people were kind of coming in and out, but it was just me and you.
Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah. Fucking getting up.
I think it was a Tuesday night or some shit.
It probably was. What was that? Which you weren't with me that one night when I went out. Remember, I came in the next morning for PT and my face is all covered in blood and shit.
When you got rocked in the face with a skateboard.
No, that wasn't the skateboard. That was a different one. That was trying to keep.
Oh, that was the bottom off like second or third deck.
No, there were so many fucking incidents. No, I went out with a couple other guys, and it was when one of our guys just re-enlisted, and he got a big bonus, so he went out and he paid for all of us to get drunk. And one of the sergeants that was with us started to get in a fight with the lieutenant, and I told him, dude, if you're gonna punch anybody, just punch me. And he hits me in the face. Like, I was just saying that to calm his ass down, and he punches me in the face, and I didn't even realize it. And then I go to PT the next day, my face is covered in blood. Like, Miller, what happened? I go, I slept in my contacts because I didn't know there was blood all over my face.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Stupid ass shit, bro.
Those fucking days, man.
No, it was. That was crazy. Fucking dumb shit. Oh, but I wouldn't change it. Yeah, and then we finally got to get back together, what, 2 years ago? Was it 21 now, I guess, right? Was it 21?
Dude, yeah.
22. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years this month. Shit. And that sucked, but we didn't see each other for 15 years, and it was like we didn't skip a beat. Like, we've been together this whole 15 years, and it was hanging out with you and B. That was fucking awesome, dude. That was such a great time.
Yeah, that's some bitch. Dude, he slapped the shit out of me, bro. So my sunglasses flying off fucking the balcony.
So stupid. All right, I mean, we could talk about this all night, but let's, you want to talk a little bit about your firefighting career?
Oh, yeah, man, yeah. Try to do a little community.
Look, yeah, it works. People are going to hear this like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's called being a Marine.
Yeah. Got back from got out of the Marine Corps, started doing a bunch of different jobs, wasn't really happy, where I was at. And then started pursuing a police route. Started doing all the, normal things that, people do to kind of set themselves up, the stepping stones, working security jobs, taking the criminal justice classes, all that stuff. And in the meantime, I was trying to, I yearned to get back and work with our brothers, man. Get back with the Marines, and it was during the Obama administration where they wouldn't take me back active. I was only allowed back on the reserve status until an active spot, opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and so I took the reserve spot. I was still doing all the stuff, to work myself, towards the police route, doing those stepping stones. And then I was also applying to every single contract job I could get. Linked up with a dude in my criminal justice class who was a prior contractor, and he gave me a contact, reached out to the contact, and from there the ball started rolling. Then a few weeks later, bam, gone. I was fucking out, dude. So I was out in Afghanistan for 3 years, like pretty legit, like 3 fucking years. Like every 6 months or so, I get to leave. But I pretty much lived out there for 3 years. I was out there mainly in Helmand Province, Camp Leatherneck. I fly out to all the FOBs, the forward operating bases, like Eddie, Nowzad, Kajak Dam. It's been too long, but yeah, like all those types of places, all the FOBs. And what I did was I worked on the jammers for the RC IEDs, or radio-controlled improvised explosives. So what those are, there's a lot of different ways, people set off the IEDs. You got pressure plates, tripwires, deadband switches, and then one of the other ways is radio-controlled, typically with a cell phone or anything that kind of transmits a signal. So you got a receiver, you got a transmitter and a receiver. And so the systems that I worked on were vehicle mounted, as well as man packs for the field, for the foot patrols, and vehicle mounted for the convoys. And so essentially kind of created a bubble around where the system was jamming. And so like Marines went out there, doing their thing, doing their mission, be jamming. And so transmitter, Haji would be out there trying to transmit, over to the receiving end, and wouldn't be able to get through. And I've had tons of stories, where I would go and do work, on systems, and they would tell me, yeah, man, we're fucking out there, doing our thing, on patrol. And the next thing you know, like behind us, like fuck, there's this explosion, and that would say that the systems were working, and Haji's up there on the hill or up on the building, whatever, and trying to fucking contact the receiver, and it wasn't until patrol got past, finally makes contact with that receiver, and then boom, But then there was the other end where these fucking Marines being goddamn Marines, all the kids are booking, our black radio system, their bullshit comes, that back in, headquarters. So they're like, yeah, we don't even jam. I'm like, fuck, dude, what? Are you guys trying to get blown the fuck up? Like, you're walking around with this equipment. I can use it, you dumbass. But whatever, man. To each their own. They want to take that risk. Okay. That was on there. But anyway, towards the end of it, was on leave, started bullshitting with the dude, and he started talking about wildland firefighting, and gone for half the year. He out there with the bros, almost like mini deployments up there on the side of the mountain. Like just doing work, putting out fires and just living in the dirt. Man, I was like, that is fucking awesome. And the other half of the year, you're out there just fucking doing whatever the fuck you want, traveling or whatever. I'm like, fuck yeah, sign me the hell up. Got done with Afghanistan, signed up for that, went out for that. Started rocking with that, did that for 3 years. My daughter came, like, all right, let me get fucking into that. And, hit the structure side of it. And, yeah, man, my first fucking call on the job was a fucking dead guy, man. What do you guys call it? I can't remember the fuck with the code.
Well, it's all out and it's weird to me. I just call it DAF.
Really? I thought that'd be kind of fucking standard, like the genetic alphabet.
You would think so, right? But it makes sense. But I just call it DAF, dead as fuck.
Oh, yeah. Well, this dude was dead as fuck. And so, first fucking call ever, man. So we roll up, and I'm fucking new guy, so I'm trying to do all the fucking work, right? I'm jump out the fucking truck, I run out there, fucking rip open the door, on the side of the engine, I grab all the fucking medical gear, I'm like, I'm fucking pushing the other firefighters, with, this shit, I'm a tough guy, I can fucking handle it, I want to prove myself, that douchey shit. and so we go walk up these stairs, it's a pretty nice house, it's a nice layout, go walk up these stairs to the front door, and immediately from there, there's like a blood trail from like the patio area to the front door. We look through like this pillar, and there's like a kind of a chunk of hair and skin on the corner, and then like fucking trail of blood, to the front door. Cops are already there, and so we, get in the door, because they called us over to confirm death. We walk in, and trail of blood all the way to the bedroom, and we walk in, and dude's probably in his, 60s, maybe 70s, and dude, it was like, he looked the most peaceful, laying in bed, okay, face up, on his back, and he had the covers pulled up, just his head showing, and then his hands were on the covers, like up by his face. Looks like he pulled the covers up, and he was just chilling. Had this, it almost looked like a fucking smile, man. Like, it was the oddest shit ever, And so we walk in, and fucking check for a pulse, on the carotid, on the neck, and fucking nothing there. So we hook up the monitor, to confirm death, there. And so, I fucking, the guys were all like, oh, you gotta do this, because I'm a new guy. I gotta fucking, I gotta learn the shit, and plus, they want me to do the dirty work. Hey, 100%, I'm there, I'm gonna do it. So I fucking did all that, pulled down the covers, fucking, did the whole nines. And, fucking dead. And, yeah. So, like, first fucking call, ever on the job, man, fucking dead, dude. And from there, man, it's fucked up to say, but they're just a fucking number, man, because that's someone's family member, that's someone's friend, that's someone's dad, that's someone's brother, that's someone's husband, and everywhere in between, I know if, the kind of shit that we joke about, to help us cope, after, if I heard someone saying that about, someone close to me, it would piss me the fuck off.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, dude, like, that's how we cope, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we deal with the shit. You know, we sit there and talk about, yeah. maybe we'll get into some of the silly stuff later, but yeah, man, sit there and make silly jokes and try to help us cope and process what we saw, and what we experienced, because not everybody experiences what we experience.
Right.
You get asked the same fucking questions that I get asked. What's the worst call? What tell me something fucked up.
Right.
If you were to tell them like some fucked up shit, they're gonna look at you like you're a fucking psycho. They don't want to fucking hear it, man. It's just like I don't understand. So typically what you revert to is like a more of a funny story. I'll revert to when I walked into, we got a call to exchange teacher, and she was either off her meds or too much meds. I never got the follow up on that, and she was sitting there fucking hallucinating, masturbating.
Jesus Christ.
And so again, I'm a fucking new guy. I'm on probation. I'm trying to fucking be the guy who walked in there, and I'm trying to get a blood glucose. So those of you that don't know, it's a little prick of the finger, and then you take this little monitor thing about a cell phone, and you dip it in the blood, and you kind of get the blood sugar. Because typically if someone's altered, that's the first thing you go through. You check the blood sugar. And so when she's sitting there, she's masturbating on the cover, and I'm like, all right, hook up the blood pressure cuff, the glucose, and I look at my capsule, like, I was like, Skip, you want me to stop her? You want me to stop her DJing right now? Like, we let her finish.
That's not hard.
I don't want to ruin her night.
Yeah, it's actually middle of the day.
Oh, well, even better. Did you flex for her a little bit? Give her a show.
Dude, she was completely in another world.
What?
Dude, that was a super interesting call, and but yeah. So like, I'll name off like that call. I won't say the call when we got this is probably like 4 in the morning, maybe 5 in the morning, to a house to a 26-year-old male, that is in the bathroom, covered in blood, head is bleeding, and unresponsive. I like, this isn't a call I would tell people when they're like, oh, tell me you most fucked up. Let's say this is my most fucked up call. This is just the first one that kind of popped in mind. A lot of the shit I forget. I'm sure the same for you.
Yeah.
A lot of the other people that are listening, like, you forget a lot of things, and there's a reason why you fucking forget it, because you don't want to think about it.
Yep. But there's always there's always that few that just stick, that never leave.
Yeah, so like, I'm not gonna tell him, when we showed up on scene and we pulled this fucking kid out of the bathroom, and he's in his family's house. He's in his mom and dad's house, and his brothers are there too. And we pull him out. We pull him into the living room, because when you work with somebody, when you're trying to assess them, you have all these other, you have your whole crew there. Yeah, everybody's got their little job, airway, checking blood, other one working the monitor, somebody doing compressions, other person, pushing drugs, you got all this shit going on. Here at the IO, whatever it may be. And so we pull this son bitch out and pull him into the living room, so we got an area to work, nice dad is like all up in our shit, you know, like trying to fucking, looking back, you know, totally understand. His dad, you know, was just, this is my son. I need to be there for him. You know, I want to hold him. I want to comfort him. I want to console him. Like, restricting us from doing our job, you know, which sucks. And so like, we're fucking sitting there trying to work this kid, man. And, or I say kid, you know, he's like, he was, you know, 26, 28, whatever he was. And so, you know, he was an adult. But, you know, because parents were there and stuff. That's what I refer to it as a kid. Yeah, this younger male. And so we're working him. And finally we're like, you know, I can't remember if we got Ross. We were going to transport, but we fucking load him up on, you know, the Mega Mover, you know, this kind of sheet thing that's got handles. And so we load him up on that, and we're about to fucking move him. And Dad just gets down and just like fucking hugs him, and he's all up in his, you know, kid's face, and he's like, you know, like just all emotional, man, and rightfully so, rightfully fucking so. That's his goddamn son, you know, and fuck, man, you know. I fucking grabbed the dad by the shoulder, you know, and I'm like, hey, if you want to just fucking fuck off, you know, and he got all irate with me, and again, rightfully fucking so, dude, you know, and my captain had a conversation with me afterwards, you know, like, you can't do that, man, like, that was his son, you know, like, you know, put yourself in his position. I'm like, yeah, you know, well, you're right, man. You know, but like I was just looking at it as a fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I took all emotion out of it. You know, and that's something we have to do. You know, so we can do our fucking job, dude. You know, because if we put our emotions, like, we're gonna be ineffective, man. We're gonna be inefficient.
Right.
It's fucking simple, dude.
Right.
You know, you have to, because you have to go through the steps. You know, everybody has their own policies, their own procedures. They're all the 1, 2, 3s. You know, and if you get all fucking emotion, you're gonna lose that, you know, that fucking focus, man. And so, I just looked at it as a fucking job. I was like, you know, like, get the fuck off him. Let's fucking get him out. Let's fucking go, dude. You want us to fucking stay? We'll fucking rock and roll, dude. And, yeah, man, I was ready. Yeah, kid, fucking yeah, man. But you know, yeah, like that's not when people sit there and they're like, oh yeah, that was the most fucked up call, you know, whatever. And it's like they don't want to hear that, man.
No.
They don't want to fucking hear that. And if you tell a story like that, it's fucking silly, man.
I made that mistake one time. Someone asked me, and I told them about the old lady we found who's been dead for a while that was melted to her floor, and her dogs were eating her. And the dogs smelled like just complete death, and they just looked at me like, oh my God, like what the fuck? And I'm like, well, you're the one that asked, you know?
Yeah, like, yeah, they you want to hear some fucked up shit? They don't know, man. They don't see it on the regular, you know. They don't understand. You know, yeah. That there's some people out there that experience some fucked up shit that aren't in a job like you and I, you know, that can handle it, you know. But for the most part, man, people they don't understand. They don't understand the emotional disconnect. They don't understand the compassion fatigue.
Mm.
You know, I feel that's a big thing that, you know, spouses, girlfriends, whatever, you know, whoever you're dating or married to, you know, hey, but look, man, like they don't get it. They don't get the compassion fatigue, and that's relationships where I'm fucking exhausted, you know, and you know, I get off a shift, you know, and I go there and I fucking sit there and I'm trying to spend time with, you know, my girlfriend and whoever it is at the time, and you know, they don't get it, man. They're like, you're somewhere else, you know, you're you're shut down. You're not showing me the compassion. Like you're not here. You're here, but you're not here. And it's like, yeah, man. Like I'm I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. It's almost as if left in the morning, ran a fucking marathon, okay, and then came back, and then like later that afternoon, or later that evening, I'm like, hey, let's go for a run. You're not gonna want to fucking go run. You just ran a fucking marathon that goddamn morning, like you're not gonna fucking want to go for goddamn, like it's they don't understand that,
Right.
and it sucks, dude. In like my most recent relationship, dude, I fucking ran into that issue. I did a 72-hour shift, and each fucking night we were up. I got men, and yeah, it wasn't like total shitty calls and whatever, but it was my birthday. My girlfriend at the time had a whole birthday thing planned for me afterwards. When I got off the shift, and I got back. I gave her a heads up. I'm like, look, I'm fucked before I leave here. I'm gonna sleep. I'm taking one of the rooms. It's empty. I'm sleeping for a couple hours, and I need to fucking rest. Okay, I texted her that, and then like it was an hour later, she fucking calls me, and she makes some fucking bullshit like trying to, and I'm like, dude, like man, like this isn't important right now. And she fucking loses her head on me, and then fucking it fucked the whole trip up, and then I'm like, fuck it, I can't fucking sleep. Went and met her, at wherever the fuck we were going, and I wanted to take a fucking nap. She wanted to go and do shit. I'm like fucking exhausted. I need to fucking, I need to zero out. I need to go into neutral. I need to fucking put the gears in neutral and just fucking level the fuck out, so we can enjoy our time,
Let me ask you a question though. How long into the job do you feel like?
To be honest, I mean, even that first call, like it didn't really faze me, or at least I don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it did, and I don't realize it did.
Mm-hmm.
There's that possibility, but like looking back at it and like thinking about it, like I don't feel it affected me.
Because you're just job mode.
Yeah. Like I was just like, fuck, I'm on the job now. I gotta do my thing. I gotta show these guys I'm here. I'm ready to work. I ain't no bitch.
Well, what about the young male that was with his parents and all that? Do you feel like if you went back to that moment and you brought some of that compassion and emotion to it, do you feel like you could have done your job as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I probably, the reality of the situation that young male probably wasn't going to make it. I should have took a step back. Yeah, that, because I mean, the reality, like that kid was fucked. He had whatever he had in his system, fucked him up, and then smacked his head on the fucking, the vanity, corner, and he had that head trauma, so, and then he was down for however, because there was another call. Here we go. There's another call where we get called on. It was a older couple, and the husband calls us, and then fucking, calls 911, and we show up on scene, and she's down in the basement. We fucking get down there, and she's on the bed, so we fuck, because you can't give quality compressions on a bed because the bed's gonna give. So you got to get the patient off, or whoever it is, the person this dude that was on my crew, I'm like, hey man, fucking move your fucking arm, you know, like I'm trying to give her compressions, you know, fucking I'm sitting there like, fuck, I throw her fucking arm, you know, trying to push her arm away. They're trying to get it turns out that she was just totally riggered out, you know, she was just all stiff, and it wasn't anything that he was doing or I was doing or anybody else. Not even, you know, took that into account, you know, when someone has rigor mortis, you know, they've been down for a while, and you know, you're not going to get pulses back on that person. So, yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you, like, with me, you know, I've seen a lot of death, but there's one call which I talked about in the last one about the dude that was on the bike that got hit. And, you know, like that one affected me the most because I was helping with the CPR. I was trying to give him breath and stuff. That was the one that really affected me. Like I said, I think it's because I was putting my life into his trying to save him. Do you have one that has hit you like that? Or do you just...
I haven't had that type of experience of, you know, trying to put my life into somebody else, you know, because, you know, we have BVMs or bag valve mat.
Right. Yeah, you got all the tools.
You know, press oxygen to somebody. But just, you know, I've sat there and people, man, you know, I sat for them, you know, with just pressing essentially a balloon that kind of inflates itself. For those of you that don't know what a BVM is, you know, it's kind of a big balloon that kind of inflates itself, and then you every 6 seconds or so, 6 to 8, press down on it, or you know, crunch it together, and it, you know, pushes oxygen into the lungs. So yeah, I've done that countless times. I haven't had that. Yeah, man, I don't know, man, or at least not yet.
Right.
At least
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah.
Or at least something from the past hasn't hit me yet.
Right.
Something I know of. You know, I'm sure it all affects me in some way.
Right.
Even earlier, man, like, you know, it's I forget a lot of calls, which kind of sucks because, you know, I want to remember some fucking stories. We don't want to shoot the shit like with you and like other bros, you know, and just fucking go back and forth, you know, like, oh man, that's pretty, you know, that's fucking crazy. But at the same time, you know, I appreciate that I'm able to forget that stuff. Whether there's a time that comes where it all fucking overflows it all, or I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope it doesn't fuck me up at some point, but as of right now, man, like, you know, there's been no call yet me up, you know.
Right. No, I know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just seeing like all this stuff, kind of contemplate your own mortality.
Yeah. I think about suicide constantly. They're fleeting thoughts. But then there's other times, typically when I'm drinking. You know, alcohol is the best. You know, when you're depressed, it's the best thing to fucking do. Yeah, even prior to the, you know, I've had suicidal thoughts. But the fire service definitely, I don't feel it's helped in that sense. You know, I'm not saying, you know, it's definitely giving me a sense of purpose. You know, like prior to that, you know, when I was in between jobs, when I was between the Marine Corps and between Wildland, you know, when I was in between, you know, those big, significant, you know, purposeful jobs, or at least that I felt were purposeful, you know, that's when I felt the most lost and the most suicidal. Because, you know, going at a young age, you know, going into the Marine Corps and putting on a uniform getting told over and over and over, you're the fiercest fighting force in the field, blah, 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 all this, you're essentially, and you look yourself in the mirror in the morning, you know, with that uniform on, you give yourself a clean shave, make sure you look squared away, you know, before you walk out to your platoon, you know, and you're good to go, and you're like, fuck yeah, man, I fucking stand for something, you know, like something a whole lot bigger than me, you know, and when you leave that, the purpose is fucking gone, you know, you're just like, who the fuck am I?
Yep.
You know, like, I think you talked about it, you know, or at least something very, very took it. You know, you lost your job with that one department, you know, and you were like, who the fuck am I anymore? You know, I lost my purpose, man, and that's when I was like, fuck, man, I was like going out, like I was in contact, man, because, you know, I'm sure you as well, you know, we've had some friends that have, you know, committed suicide, and yeah, man, I've had, yeah, man, good friend from that I was in a platoon in Japan, you know, and dude, I was in Afghanistan, you know, keep their names out, but, you know, those guys, yeah, it sucks, man, and the one dude that I was with in Japan, I remember he fucking reached out to me a handful of years back, and I would, you know, thought he was good to go, and then him killing himself, I was thinking, like, man, I gotta reach out to him, but just like everything else, man, like all of us, you know, we'll sit there and we'll get just caught up in our own lives, you know, we'll have these fleeting thoughts of, you know, like, oh man, fucking, what's distracted, and then, so, not saying that, you know, me reaching out to him would have had any difference, I don't know, you know, I can't say that for sure, but I definitely feel guilty in the sense that, you know, you know, maybe if I reached out to him, you know, they could have a fucking difference. But yeah, suicide is fairly common thought or fleeting thought. It's gotten a little bit better. June. 6 months now, I've been on antidepressants, and I've been in therapy for a little over that. So the thoughts of suicide have subsided quite a bit.
Good.
Yeah, I kind of went on a whole tangent there, but yeah, a year and a half ago, I had, I guess what you were saying, an episode or an incident where, you know, I had a fucking mind. I was sitting here in my kitchen, you know, just on the other side of the counter from where I'm at now. Just by myself. I was drinking, and, you know, there were some other things that kind of got me to that level, but I lost my fucking mind, and I was sat there and double checked, triple checked my Glock, made sure it was completely fucking empty. And I sat there, I bit down on it, and fucking pulled the trigger, you know, fucking racked it, pulled the trigger, racked it, pulled the trigger. Just to see what the first time that I've done that. But, yeah, it's there. It's, you know, something I'm working on. And, yeah, it sucks. Like, I'm actually like pathetic that I've had these thoughts, you know, like I almost feel weak.
You're not. That's the one thing. You're not, brother. I mean, we've all been there, and my last year and a half wasn't much different, you know. And then that transition from the Marine Corps into civilian life, you can ask Laura right now. There's many of nights where I was in the bathtub with the shower running, drunk as a skunk, just bawling my eyes out, not knowing what the fuck to do with my life, not knowing what my purpose was, you know, the same shit, you know. They like you said, they make us these killers, and they tell us we're these amazing, you know, the best branch there is, and we're the toughest motherfuckers out there, right? And then when it's time to go, they're like, all right, see you later. Fuck you, we don't need you anymore, you know? So, it doesn't...
You know, like if somebody gets cancer and people are, there it is, people are always like, oh, you're going to, you know, endure this and you're going to fight this and you're going to fight cancer and you're going to be great, and then like cancer's gone and they're like celebrating you and it's such a happy moment for everybody, even the person that had the cancer. But when we're listening to people who have these stories about suicide and actually, you know, surviving it, it's depressing in itself, which is terrible. It's you've endured so much in your life. This is a mental disease basically that has taken over you, and you have conquered it. And what do you get? You get judgment. You get you're weak. You're what's wrong with you, and it should be celebrated as any type of physiological disease is celebrated when they conquer that. So I congratulate you on your efforts to do.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say anything to be celebrated because there's still a whole lot more life to go. I know. Well, hey, let me back up. Stop totally shooting down.
That dick. That's such a dick.
I'll just stop talking.
I started going like total asshole. Like, yeah.
You have your right to your opinions.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess my thoughts to that is, I don't feel it's anything to be celebrated because I'm, still have a lot more life to go. Just a lot more shit to go through. Still fucking powering through some shit. And I got some shit going. Fuck it. Every day, keep me up last night. I was on shift last night. We didn't even run any fucking calls. But
But you're building resilience every time you do that. You're building resilience every time you do that. You're getting stronger every time.
I'm building gray hair.
That too.
That's your resilience right there.
I tell you what, dude.
But you are getting old. We're getting old, so that's what's gonna happen.
Hey, man, that's just a fucking number.
Well, like I say to everybody, but you got my number, and I'm always there. So, you know that.
Yeah, hey, man, for sure, dude. For sure. Cool. That's good, man. Yeah, it's always good to have some bros, that you can count on you. I know if I'm going through this thing, I may not have a brother that can relate to this, but I have another brother that can fucking relate to it. And then those same two brothers, the one I reached out to last time, I'm going through some different shit. Like, he made it to the other dude,
Yep.
And so it's good, man, to have, some diversity in your bros, but, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hey, we may be thousands of miles apart, but I'll always have a beer with you.
Hey, man. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
All right, man. Well, I won't keep you too long. We've been talking for a while, but I fucking appreciate you coming on and telling your story, dude. It's fucking awesome. We love you to death. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love you too, brother.
So.
No homo.
Are you sure?
Maybe a little. I don't know. Maybe
I know you guys left all those left all those bad stories out for the Marine Corps. I feel like they were a little more erotic in nature.
We only rubbed lotion on each other once or twice a week. Okay.
Just massages, right? Just massages.
The Marines, the straightest gay dudes you ever
Exactly. The gayest straight dude you'll ever meet. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, again, we love you, man, so much. And then,
All right, yeah, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, buddy.
Wow, that was great. That was awesome.
Yes, very much.
It's not every day you get to hear stories like that, especially in such detail and in depth, and then personal experiences. It's really nice for him to come on and talk about those things.
Yes, I mean, that's when we talk. We had a conversation a couple days ago, and I'm like, dude, I want you on here. I want you to tell your story. So I think people really need to hear it. So.
Yeah, definitely. When it definitely comes to the suicide part, like, no one wants to talk about that, because he even said it himself, like it's like a weakness, and if you show that to anybody, it's bad, and
Right.
it's nice of him to talk about that.
That's one of the things we want to change. We don't want it to be a weakness. We want it to be like, hey, you're having problems. Everyone can have these problems. It's not just you. Everyone has them.
Yeah.
Let's talk it out. Let's talk this shit out,
Yeah. It's interesting, too, to hear him talk about kind of that desensitization of, seeing death on the job so much and just believing that it's just a job and not actually seeing it for what it is.
Right. And I mean, like I said, most of the time with me, I feel the same way. There's been one or two incidences, like the one, and then I remember and it wasn't a death, thank God, but it was a young child, and he was just beat the shit, and he reminded me of her son, like, looked just like her son, and that affected me for a little bit,
Yeah.
Those things that hit close.
Yeah. How could it not, I feel like, sometimes?
Right. It's just, it's tough sometimes, it really is, but it's nice to know that I've got someone I can always talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he'll always answer. He's answered in a precarious spot one time when I called him, and he was like, "Oh, call me back, or I'll call you back." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem," but I'm not going to go into that, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah. It's good to have friends like that. If you don't, to have someone at least you can call and talk to when it comes to stuff like that. It's really important.
Yes, very much. And, if you don't, find someone.
Yeah.
Go get someone. Like I said in our last podcast, contact us if you need to talk to somebody. We'll gladly find the time to talk to you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like he was saying too, he is seeking treatment and he's been in therapy, and I feel like that is another thing that a lot of people in the field, both firefighting and police officers, that they don't want to admit that's another showing that they're weak and
right.
There's something wrong with them.
I mean, one of my old departments, I admitted I was seeing somebody, and what did they tell me? Well, back in my day, I'd just make you turn in your badge and gun. It's like, fuck you, man. I'm having some issues. Like,
yeah,
give me a fucking break. At least I'm trying to work on it, and I'm not just drinking it down and doing stupid shit on the job, Like,
yeah.
No, I know I sounded a bit angry there, and yeah, it makes me a little angry when I talk about it, and probably shouldn't let that anger come out on the podcast, but, it is what it is, and I'm sure a lot of people have felt that way. But, yeah, it's one of those things that when I think about it, it does make me kind of angry, so.
Yeah, I think that's the frustrating part of the job, too. Just not being heard and understood and just being told, like, what you're dealing with is not significant. But I guess it's just so important to have that support, especially in the field you guys work in, to have friends, family, professional help, whatever it might be. Like, if you don't consider yourself to have a lot of friends, like at least somebody, mom, dad, brother, sister, someone, as a therapist, whoever it is, to reach out to and when you feel like this. And if you get that low in thoughts and feeling kind of suicidal, yeah, definitely it's very important to have someone you can reach out to.
Right, exactly. And if you don't feel like you have anybody to reach out to, I made a mistake in the second episode when I said the suicide hotline number. The number is actually 988. If you're feeling low and you don't think you have anybody to talk to, please call that number. And there will be someone there who's a professional that can talk to you, that can help you. This world's better with you in it. Even if you feel like it's not, it is.
Most definitely. And we're not affiliated with this organization, but if you live in North Texas, DFW areas, and even in Oklahoma, I think it's called FIRST. It's an organization that helps first responders with stress and trauma. They have a physiological side to things, and they have the psychological side to things. It helps with just stress and trauma for everybody, really, families, everybody. But you can definitely reach out to them. They have services open all the time. I think they have like 20-something therapists now, so they're always there's always someone there. So it's first.org, and that's first with a 1 instead of an I.
Yeah, and when I was having my issues, that's who I went to and spoke with, and they're just awesome. They do a lot of great things. They do more than just therapy, too. They do physical health also, and your mental health. They do great programs. I even attended a 3-day program through them that was just amazing. It's a peer support program. and it's catching on, and it needs to catch on everywhere, because this is something that needs to be out there.
Yeah, and all their therapists too are some way related to first responders, whether they be family members or they themselves were first responders. So check them out if you ever need help or guidance or just to talk to somebody. They're always there.
Definitely a great program, great company. They're awesome. So, all right, everybody. Remember, if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify or YouTube, make sure you're giving us a good rating, following us, give us a comment on our Facebook page, The Police Condition. You can email us at thepolicecondition@gmail.com. Like I said, we're always here to listen. We want to hear your stories. We want to talk to you. We want everybody to be engaged in the program. So please, if you get the chance, go ahead and hit us up and talk to us. But